book of Genesis, and we left good old Joseph with his roller coaster life, and he's back up again. He's in charge of everything. Pharaoh's entrusted everything to him, and all because he was able to interpret Pharaoh's dream. And he's now in the years of famine, where he is doling out the grain to those that need it, as he had forecast he would be doing. And we have 10 of the boys have been sent down from Jacob, and they have been sent down to buy grain because they are experiencing famine also. And Joseph, being in charge, recognizes his brothers coming, and he disguises himself so that he knows that his brothers are coming, but they don't know who he is. Now, if you look at verse 5 and you look at verse 7, you start to think to yourself, well, now Joseph is going to have some revenge. And we talked about how revenge and bitterness and anger is destructive more to the person in whom it's stored than to whom it's poured. We see him speaking harshly to his brothers, but it takes a little while into this chapter before you recognize that he still loves his brothers, and that he has interest in their well-being in spite of all that they've done to him and the hatred that they had for him. He calls them spies a number of times. You'll find it in verse 9, verse 11, verse 14, and verse 16. We all know that spies are not treated very kindly in the country that they're spying in. And so the brothers were probably quite concerned about the accusation that they're spies. But he tells them to go back and get the youngest brother. Now, they have told him kind of half-truths. They've told him that there are 12 brothers in all, and they said that the youngest one is back with Daddy, and that's true. Benjamin is back with Daddy. But they say that there is one other brother that is no more. That, of course, was Joseph, but he is very much there, and the reports of his demise are greatly overstated. Nevertheless, we find them being put in prison for about 3 days. And then he comes to them and he says, do this and you will live. Go send back for your youngest brother. Bring him back and you will live. Now, we talked about the fact that in typology, Joseph is type for Jesus. That doesn't mean that he was Jesus. It doesn't mean that he did everything exactly as Jesus did, but that there are some similarities to the actions. And Jesus said, if you trust in me, you believe in me, you'll live. And Joseph basically is saying the same thing to his brothers. Trust me and you'll live. Interesting, isn't it? Well, third day in prison, they're given the opportunity to live by sending back for their youngest brother. And we see the compassion that Joseph has for his brothers. And he tells them to take some grain back with them to get the brother. Now, he could have easily just sent them back, but he knew they were hungry. They wouldn't have come down to Egypt, and they wouldn't have taken the risk of being called spies if they weren't hungry. And certainly Jacob would not have sent his sons down and all of the risks involved unless they were hungry. And Joseph shows his compassion by sending them back with grain. And there's some real interesting applications in this particular section of Scripture. Joseph's original dream that his whole family would bow down before him, that's just come to pass. His brothers, when they come for the grain, it says bowed down before him. Jacob has had to go to his son Joseph for grain. And then there's the compassion that we see here. We see God's wisdom is always best. Joseph was trusting on God and the things that God said to him in visions and in dreams. And we see that when we follow God's path, it is always best. Reminds you of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all of your ways, and he'll direct your path. Interesting, isn't it? Well, the key verses are verse 18 and 21, and I think we can really learn from those. Do this and you'll live. The typology that Jesus says, trust in me. I am the way, the truth, and the way. I am life, and you'll find it in me. And the second verse, 21, the sin against Joseph was remembered by his brothers. Look closely at verse 21. Their sin was ever before them. Even though it had happened quite a long time before, they had not forgotten the transgression that they made against their brother Joseph. And they were continuing to see, and God was continuing to remind them of their sin. And that's the way sin is. Sin will continually remind you until you confess it, and God separates it as far as the east is from the west. So if there's some sin that's in your life that you've never confessed to God, why not do it today? If there's some sin in your life that you have confessed, why don't you trust God to separate you from that sin? He's forgiven and forgotten, and it's time for you to do the same. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.